Hey, Husker fans, where's the beef? Oh, here he is.
Oh, that's funny.
Here's another video from Just Two Dudes. My name's Louie.
My name's Seth.
And I am the dad.
I'm the son.
That's right. Okay, so basically we're getting really close to the season opener.
It's Wednesday night?
Yep.
Yeah, late Wednesday night right now.
And this freaking coaching staff, they drive me nuts.
Go ahead, go on your little rant.
We just, these depth charts, these non-existing depth charts, I'm the type of person that after probably a couple weeks of fall camp, I probably want one.
You kind of want a coach's analysis of every position, kind of?
Well, I would prefer they call me after practice and let me know what's going on. But I think a depth chart is a fair compromise. But we don't get that. But we did find out a lot about this week.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying with how they like to keep a lot of
Personally,
information.
it's frustrating.
Right, but this year, you have to admit, this year, you've gotten a lot more information than you have in previous years.
Not really.
I think
Frank Solich used to call me.
I'm saying from Bo and his staff.
Right.
I mean, this year, they're getting better at it. Still, it's not that great, but they are getting better at it.
So why don't you talk about some of the starters that they announced this week?
Well, this week, the defensive end battle opposite of Cameron Meredith was one with Jason Ankra getting the starting nod there. He was a former four-star recruit from Maryland, and he's a redshirt sophomore, and it's his time now to step up for Pierre Allen, and it's interesting though that I think it was JP was talking about after practice the other day that even though Anchor is the starter, it's more like he's the first guy up because we're so deep at defensive line, especially at the defensive end spot, and not just deep, but there's a few players there that are extremely athletic.
Okay, so who? If Meredith is on one side and Anchor's on the other,
right?
Who is Meredith's backup?
Meredith's backup and Anchor's first backup is Josh Williams. Josh Williams is both of their backups.
All right. Okay. What? Talk about Courtney Osborne and Austin Cassidy.
Well, Coach Raymond today, the DB coach, said that that Courtney Osborne and Austin Cassidy are going to be the starting safeties, and that P.J. Smith and Damian Stafford are both going to rotate heavily. There's even some talk that they could rotate series even for the first quarter and the second half, and then after that kind of still rotate throughout the game. And safety is another position that it's kind of like we're deep at it, but even though there's two starters named, I don't think really anybody's really going over the top and really wowing.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
when you
a
have
lot of people will play.
Yeah, when you have a rotation like this, and there's nothing wrong with having four very good players who could start, but it's just kind of like you would like to see someone take that huge step above and beyond the others.
Oh, totally, especially at the safety position.
Right.
But I think that position really benefited from strong defensive line play.
Yes.
If you've watched our videos, you know I am no fan of Larry Asante. I am no fan of Matt O'Hanlon.
Whoa, why are you not a fan of Matt O'Hanlon?
Because I'm not. I didn't think he was that good. I am a fan of Eric Hagg and Dijon Gomes.
Yeah, those are your boys.
Yeah, Dijon Gomes, oh my goodness, we probably can't get started on that.
And he's doing good things with the Redskins right now in the preseason.
Of course, Dijon won't be missed as much as Ndamukong Suh, and I would never even come close to saying that.
I would even say
he will be this year's #1 most missed player. Personally, that's my opinion.
See, that's your opinion, but I think honestly it's going to be Eric Hagg as far as talking about that. Just because, I mean, when you have a whole defense based around one guy, a whole scheme based around one guy, I mean, that's enough said right there.
Yeah, and we won't get into Dijon because he's gone. But, okay.
And we were talking about the safeties right there.
Alfonso.
Yeah, Alfonso.
Denard.
I've heard it both.
Okay, so
I say Denard.
I say Denard. Okay,
that's what I say.
As far as I understood, it was Alfonso Denard on one side and that Keontae Evans one. Keontae. Oh, that's the drink. Keontae Evans. Did you know Keontae's a drink? Good. Good. Of course you did.
I mean, no.
Okay. Deontay Evans was the other starter.
Right.
But now with Denard out, what is it? Aaron Green?
Andrew Green.
Dang.
He's the older brother. Aaron's the running back, of course.
Oh, okay, all right. So he's
That's
gonna
why
come
I
in.
wrote him down for you.
Yeah, but I thought that said Morrow, and I'm like,
What?
you getting ready to talk about some fullbacks or something? Okay.
No.
So it's gonna be.
I'll take it.
Mhm.
It's gonna be Andrew Green replacing Denard in the starting lineup. Deontay Evans will replace Denard, and basically now I did it. Andrew Green's just moving up the order, and he's gonna start there. But at the same time, Coach Raymond said that both corners are gonna be rotated. Probably not as much with Deontay, but with Andrew Green,
How those
you're gonna
guys
get-
beat Prince though?
I mean, how they beat Prince?
That's a joke. Come on. All right. So anyway,
Well, hold on.
Oh, but man.
And Andrew Green he is going to get the start if Denard can't go. But at the same time, you're going to see a lot of Josh Mitchell and Deshaun Washington, and that's what Coach Raymond said. And both of those guys they had good springs, good camps, good fall camps, and we'll see how it goes there.
Josh Mitchell has
He really impressed.
freaky feet.
He really impressed you, and
In
he
the
got a
spring
couple.
game.
He got a couple chances in the return game, and you were really impressed
his
with
feet.
his.
They just
Yeah.
well, and when he was out in coverage too. I can't
Yeah.
say he was always. He didn't have the best coverage on his guy, but his feet.
All right,
just,
that's why he's a backup. But yeah, he's very athletic. Very athletic.
I've got to get to this. I've got to get to this.
Well, then get
The offensive line.
it.
Okay. I have been probably their worst critic, especially over the last 2 years, and even 3 years ago. I
You've kind of
absolutely
always been a critic.
no. I absolutely love this youth movement.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying, "Well, wait a minute. How those guys must have really sucked if a bunch of freshmen and sophomores are coming in." I got a different take on that.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a new offense.
Right.
Okay, we need quicker, more agile, more athletic guys. Okay,
Right.
so you have a guy like Marcel Jones. He's
Yes.
probably a bad example because the poor kid has fought
He's had
a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm trying to say. You got a guy who came in. He was 6'6", 290.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's all of a sudden he's 6'6", 350.
Yeah. He's
Okay?
huge.
He's too big now.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you change offense and you tell all your linemen, hey, we need
Right.
you quick and agile. It's probably not as important for you to weigh 350, 360. We need you down around 300, 310.
Right.
Well, these freshmen and sophomores haven't had 4 and 5 years to pack on muscle.
Right.
So
And
they're
another-
still,
Go ahead. Go
they
ahead.
still have a little bit more of a leaner frame. Like
More
Jake-
athletic.
And leaner.
Yeah.
Like, is it Jake?
Yeah, it's Jake.
Jake Cotton, the kid who's possibly going to start at right guard.
Mm-hmm.
We saw him downtown a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he's quite
The
a special.
kid is just put together.
I had a class with him at UNO, and you look at him and you say, okay, I get it. He's one of those guys that you want, kind of like the first off the bus guys. He's a very impressive looking athlete, especially for a lineman.
Okay, so you take Mike Caputo out of the equation,
Right.
and your right guard and your right tackle is probably going to be a freshman,
Yeah.
and
One's going to be a redshirt freshman.
and the other's going to be a true freshman.
Right. Well, here's the
then
thing
you
about that.
have
Let me say something about that. Jay Cotton, of course, redshirt freshman, and the true freshman I'm talking about is Tyler Moore. And here's
Right
the
tackle,
thing.
yeah.
Right tackle. Tyler Moore, to me, he's not a true freshman. I mean, and here's why. I mean, he is a true freshman technically, but think about it. He was basically here for a whole offseason like a redshirt freshman.
He played high school football last year.
I know that, but it's a different than a true freshman who just got here a couple months ago. He was here for a winter, he was here for a spring, he was here for summer conditioning, and now he's been here for a fall camp. I mean, it's not like he just showed up.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Who's the fools over at left tackle?
Jeremiah Searles and
Sophomore.
Jamarcus Hardrick.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sophomore and
so
senior.
Who started all year last year? So you
Searles.
could potentially have Searles,
Yes.
and then at left guard you have true sophomore Andrew Rodriguez.
Yes.
and then Caputo, and then Cotton, and more.
This is all just speculation, of course, but from things we've heard, it's a very educated
that
guess.
Quali kid.
Yeah, Quali. He's, I know
is he fighting for a backup guard?
He started at a guard and then he went to a tackle, and then now I hear he's interchanging with both.
Okay.
I think Quali's just one of those guys, kind of like how in baseball you need a utility player.
Okay.
I think he's one of those guys that's kind of going to be a backup in all positions.
But these offensive linemen, I'm all for these young kids, because if the young kids beat out, whether it was due to system or what, it's I love it. I love the fact that these young kids. What I like the most, to be honest with you, is you've got your. Sorry, I'm a little mixed up here. You have your left guard, your center, and your right guard.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people, Husker fans, are from out of state and stuff like that. But I absolutely love the fact that your interior is local kids.
Yeah.
To me, I always kind of think you get a little more out of them.
And I've always thought that.
Nasty ass
I've always thought
Henry.
like even going back a few years with Zach Potter. Zach Potter, he's not a good. He was a good defensive end. He's not like a great defensive end. He's not that he is athletic.
Zach Potter was all heart.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These kids,
he was a local kid, and he
these
knew what
local
the end
kids,
meant
exactly.
on the side of his
These
helmet.
local kids know what that means. And I mean, Jake Cotton is local, but he's kind of spent time, following his dad in a few different spots.
Right.
But he is local.
He's from Lincoln Southeast. I think he probably spent a lot of time growing up in Des Moines, because his dad coached at Iowa State for quite a while.
And he's been here for a while too.
But that old line, I tell you what, we gotta have it this year. I hope the young kids can get it done.
The biggest thing is, everyone's saying, like what you were saying, why are these guys better than guys who were here last year? And I think it is what you say. It's about the new offense we're running. And I think if this was last year's, if we were still running last year's offense, you would probably see those old guys.
You would.
Because that's their system.
You would.
But now it's opened the doors to more people that fit what we're trying to do now.
True. Okay, so
now that we've spent a lot of time on that.
Oh man. Okay. Is it talk about that?
What, you pointed to 5 things?
I went just like that.
About Brett Maher? This week it was said by JP that Brett Maher has won the starting kicking job and the starting punting job.
You call him JP because you can't pronounce his last name?
I get tongue-tied with it a little.
Papachus?
Yeah, see?
Okay. Yeah.
I get a little tongue-tied with it for some reason, and I just call him JP. But, so Maher has won the kick and the punt duties to replace Alex Henry, but still not so sure about the kickoff. Duties yet.
Since when? Just because Alex Henry was a good kicker and punter, since when does one guy win both jobs?
Right,
That's
and
kind of odd that we would have back-to-back situations.
Right, but if that's something that if Bo can find guys that can do both, and it's something that's obviously has worked for him so far. I mean, if it's what he wants, it's what he wants.
The return game, the kickoff returns. We kind of thought Jamal Turner had that thing locked up.
Yeah, absolutely. Both return jobs. He in the spring game he was so electrifying in the return game. But this week, well, you can say it.
Okay, the top 4 returners that they have listed so far is Kenny Bell, Aaron Green, Amir Abdullah, and Tim Marlowe.
Right.
If you watch Jamal Turner, you know that he's the best choice for that.
Right.
But
so it obviously goes to say there's probably bigger plans for Jamal Turner than just a return game. Like Kenny Bell is a guy who we're going to use a lot in the slot, or most likely will use a lot in the slot. But, he's not one of those guys that we necessarily have huge plans for that we can't afford getting hurt. I mean, that's why Rex isn't returning kicks.
Right.
I mean, that's why last year he kind of could, and this year he's not doing that at all.
Okay, so I think that just speaks to the fact that they've got pretty big plans for Jamal Turner.
Yeah, absolutely.
They probably got some wildcat for him. I'm sure there's even some other offensive plans for him.
He is one of those special guys that not only can you put him at his natural position, but he is a package type player
Right.
that you can use in a lot of ways. You can even line him up in the backfield if just for a different look. I mean, he's that type of guy that can literally, outside of play on the line, he can do anything on a football field.
Right. Okay, let's spend a little bit of time on the defense. Now, we already talked about the defensive ends.
Yeah, we talked
If we
about
move into the interior, we have
obviously we have Jared Crick and Baker Steinkuhler.
yeah. Baker Steinkuhler, I still feel should be turning pro after this year and should be a number 1 pick of
Number
the
one
NFL.
overall?
Yep, the overall number 1 pick as an offensive lineman. I'll never quit thinking that. He's the best I ever saw in high school at it. After years of watching high school football, the kid just is amazing.
That was
And,
such a long night for me.
Well, yeah.
I don't really want to get in.
Yeah, me too. But so you got Baker Steinkuhler and Jared Crick there.
Yeah.
But what's nice is for once you're not just hearing the word serviceable. We have
Right.
guys that can give Crick a break. We're hearing that Terrence Moore and Chase Rome, help me out.
Thad Randall, Jay Guy, Kevin Williams, who's a true freshman. He's a little dinged up right now, but you've heard his name.
and Justin Jackson.
And Justin Jackson.
Local kid. Well, Norris. Yeah, so I mean the D line is really set up.
Right, and
the
you know,
starting linebackers are pretty set, but man, we have not heard much.
yeah, and I mean
this
we
is what kind of sucks is because all the injuries we've had the last 2 years at the linebacker position.
yeah,
We hear Sean Fisher, Levante David, and Will Compton.
And let me say something real quick. We're counting on 3 guys because our backup group of linebackers, that second group, is still kind of undetermined. I'll get to that in a second because I have a pretty good hunch of who those guys are going to be. But you look at our starting 3 that we are really, really depending on to stop some of the more physical teams in the Big Ten. And 2 of them, one of them was out for the whole year and has kind of had injury problems throughout his career, and Sean Fisher. And then Will Compton had to miss 7 or 8 weeks,
Yeah.
maybe even longer last year. I mean, we're counting on these guys. And Levante David, obviously, he played all last year. We all know what he did. But those other 2 guys we have to be able to depend on them. And they cannot get hurt.
Well, so like who are some possible people that could be that in that
really,
second group of linebackers?
You hear 5 names a lot.
Well, let's hear them.
You hear David Santos, a true freshman. You hear Graham Stoddard, a local kid. Alonzo Whaley, Matt May, and Trevor Roach.
Yeah, but Trevor Roach got hurt too. 'Cause
They've
they
all
said
kind of got hurt.
Yeah, they said he was pushing.
But here, the way I see it is if Roach is healthy and he gets going again, I think he ultimately is going to be the backup middle linebacker. He'll be the middle linebacker of that second group. And then the outsides, I think it's going to be Matt May and David Santos on the outsides for that second group.
Okay.
I mean, David Santos is a kid who's really starting to pick it up. You know, he probably first got here in fall camp, and with this defense, the scheme we run, he probably had all this stuff going around, all the knowledge, and then trying to even keep up with some of the players who have been here. You know, it's very hard to pick up this scheme. But now that it's later on in fall camp, he's kind of got it, and the coach is saying he's making really, really big strides. And if he can continue to do that, you know, I think he's going to get some time this year, especially in these non-conference games where. And that's the biggest thing with the second group of linebackers. We need to have that established before we go up to Camp Randall. We probably even need to have it established before then. These first 2, 3 games, we really need to get that established.
True. All right. I think that kind of wraps that up.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Okay.
I ain't got nothing else.
Right. Okay. Well, that's it then. We're going to come right back with another video, guys.